Hello, hello, and welcome everybody. I'm Shannon LaBruyere, and you are tuning into Sunday Night Live, where we equip people to thrive in change. I am live and loving it tonight. So delighted to be with you, delighted to be able to share some of my thoughts, my awarenesses around the principles that really allow us to be resilient in the midst of change that we want, the change we don't, the change we invited, the change that smacked us upside of the head. And we're thinking, where did that come from? All of that change. Hi, Carol. I'm glad you're here. So, I want to give a shout out to Thumb Roast Coffee. If you are a coffee drinker, you owe it to yourself to go to thumbroastcoffee.com and check out what they have to offer. So many roasts, different beans from different areas of the world, delicious stuff, all clean, all fresh, all delicious, and all 15% off if you use the coupon code THRIVE. So if you are a coffee lover, do yourself a favor, go to thumbroastcoffee.com, put in the coupon code THRIVE, THRIVE, and you are going to experience some really wonderful mornings in this near future. And if you're in the Western Hemisphere, I think that's how it works. Ugh, don't call me on geography. Anyway, I know this part of the world, we're getting ready to go into winter. So it's getting a little cold out there. So I encourage you to go visit thumbroastcoffee.com. You will not be sorry. Let's see who else we have jumping on. Oh, hi, Missy. I'm glad you're here. Laura, I'm glad you're here. Welcome, everybody. I am super excited to talk about tonight's Thrive Principle. It is hashtag find the beauty. Thrive principles are these core principles, core understandings that when we use them, when we're in the midst of change or many other situations, actually, they allow us to be able to make better decisions without having to try to check off a whole bunch of boxes. It's like setting our GPS so we don't have to worry so much about every little thing. When our inside understanding is aligned with what we know to be true and good, that internal GPS is going to be more inclined to take us there. And we don't have to work so hard when change comes at us, especially unexpected change. So I love principles, and that's why, because when we adopt principles, when we know principles, we are able to live a life guided by principles that also yields us wonderful benefits, happiness, fulfillment, significance, impact, all the things that I know you crave, because that's why you're here. Hi, Corey. I'm glad to see you. Oh, Jeff, glad to see you on here live. You guys, this is great. Thank you for jumping on. And now let me get rid of this banner. And well, I thought I was getting rid of a banner, you know. Let's see. Hmm. Yay, I'm back. Awesome. Okay. And Mary's here. Oh, we've got a full house. This is wonderful. Thank you so much. Tonight's hashtag is find the beauty. And I sort of gave a trite title to what we're going to talk about tonight. And it is beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I've really I've been thinking a lot about what does that actually mean? When I say find the beauty, when I say find the beauty, how do you even know what you're looking for if you don't know what beauty is? And then I started really going down this rabbit hole. And I mean, if you want to think about as a woman, what has the typical understanding of what beauty is been, right? Um, in the 40s, what did that look like? It was this teeny tiny waist and the big shoulders and the big hair. In the 50s, it was the poodle skirts, and then now you've got people who are going and getting implants in their backsides, which is just mind-boggling to me. So the external idea, culture's idea of what beauty is absolutely changes, right? how do we know what's beautiful? And if we are going to have one of our key core principles be to find the beauty no matter what circumstance we're in. Carol's laughing, I know. Isn't that something? Like I was born right on time, I think. Um, if we are going, if I'm going to have as one of my guiding principles that one of the things that I live my life by is to look for beauty no matter what circumstance I'm in. If I don't have a good definition of what beauty is, I'm going to be looking for the wrong thing. Okay? So let's talk about that. How do you define beauty? So I'm not talking about physical beauty now. I'm talking about what's beautiful to you. When you think of something that's beautiful, what comes to mind? So drop that in the chat. Let me know what you think of when I ask you what's beautiful to you. So drop that in there. And while you're doing that, um, I'm going to tell you a story. There was an actress. She's still an actress, actually. Her name is Jennifer Grey. And she was in the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off. You might recall that one. And she was also in the movie Dirty Dancing, which was, oh gosh, I don't know, back in the 90s. It was a very popular movie. And she was highly sought after as an actress. She got opportunities for lots of roles. And she told the story about how she looked in the mirror and all she could see was that she had this big nose and it kind of jumped out from her face. And so she decided that to further her career as an actress, she would go and get a nose job. And she said she couldn't get a role afterwards. It was years before she could get cast in another role. She had taken a quirk, something that was unique to her, something that made her interesting, that allowed her to get roles as an actress, and she had traded it for something vanilla, a nose that looked like everybody else's nose in Hollywood. And there were a lot of noses that looked just like her new nose. And those people had never been in movies and they weren't going to charge so much money. And she lost out on opportunity. She thought she was becoming more beautiful, but the thing that actually made her beautiful in the eyes of the people who were hiring her was the very thing she hated. And she got rid of it and paid the price. All right, so let's see what you guys think is beautiful. So Missy says nature. Yeah, Missy, you live right by Lake Huron. It's a stunner. Corey says this, I was in the desert and I'm not a fan of the desert. And then I started seeing vibrant colors everywhere and started taking pictures. So you found some unexpected beauty. I love that, Corey. Thank you. Ooh, Carol says good conversation. I love that. What an interesting take. Good conversation is a beautiful thing to Carol. And hi, Denise. I'm glad you're here. And Missy, yes, she's supporting Carol's answer there. Good answer. Good conversation. What do you find beautiful? So sometimes when we're thinking about beauty, we think about perfection. We think about perfection. And I can remember getting my children ready for church or getting them ready to go somewhere special. And I put a lot of effort into making sure they looked perfect. Perfect like magazines. Perfect like the catalogs that had all the cute kids' clothes that I was always actually trying to copy when I sewed because I couldn't afford to buy them, but I sure did love them. I put a lot of pressure at first on my children to look perfect, to look neat, to look tidy, to look clean, to look like that catalog. And you and I both know, you guys, those catalogs, those are pictures of people. They're snapshots and you can't see all the chaos that's going on around them. But that's what I was striving for. I had told myself that something beautiful was perfect. Ooh, Maureen, it's good to see you, Mo. Mo says how someone treats others when supposedly no one sees. Mo, you're an observer of people, aren't you? Yeah. And you notice, right? You notice how somebody's treating somebody when they think nobody's looking. Interesting where we can find beauty, sometimes unexpected places. But if we're looking for perfection, I'm here to tell you, you're missing the boat. You're missing the boat if you think that in the midst of change, hashtag find the beauty means you've got to find the perfect solution, the perfect path, the perfect opportunity, the perfect result. If you think that finding the beauty means finding the perfection in the midst of your change, you are going to be at the very least disappointed. And at the worst, it could be disastrous. Because when we are in change, it never looks perfect. It never looks perfect. If it looks perfect, it's because they caught that child in a snapshot for a split second. When we are devoted to being resilient in the face of change, we need to understand how we define what beautiful looks like. And when we're dealing with change, loss, adapting to a loss of a job, the loss of a loved one, adapting to an empty nest, adapting to a promotion, a demotion, you name it, every one of those changes has within it the potential, well, it has within it some beauty. But if you are only looking for perfection, you will miss it. How we define beauty matters. I love seeing your responses here. This has been so great. Nature, right? Unexpected nature in places where maybe you didn't think it was beautiful or you don't like it, like Corey said, but then she started seeing these colors and couldn't stop taking pictures. Seeing beauty in good conversation, seeing beauty in how somebody treats somebody else and the kindness that comes out. These are different layers of beauty. I've seen beautiful brides. I have seen beautiful brides. Anybody else? Beautiful brides? I've seen them. I've seen beautiful brides. And then I've seen brides that have been married for 40 or 50 years, caring for a husband who is ill. And that's a whole different kind of beauty, you guys. A whole different kind of beauty. There is beauty in the midst of that change, but it doesn't look like the picture perfect snapshot that we sometimes are thinking of when we think of beauty. It's especially important for us to understand that there is beauty in every situation that we are in, even though we can't see it. And I don't want anybody to feel pressured to find the good part of something terrible that you've been going through. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm not talking about some external person sweeping in and saying, well, look on the bright side, XYZ. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about these internal principles that when we cultivate them, when we stir them, when we think about them, contemplate on them, meditate on them, apply them, they become a part of who we are. And then we start seeing beauty in places that we never expected before. We stop looking for the perfection. We stop looking for the perfection. Carol says this, yes, beautiful brides, and love the description you gave of a bride that has been married 40 years. Both wonderful. Yes, both wonderful. There is beauty in both of those seasons. There is beauty there. So when we're in the midst of change, it can be tempting to look for the beauty and look for perfection and the comparison game, right? So and so is going through this change just great. Really? Well, you don't see everything that so and so is going through. So maybe you shouldn't just assume that so and so is going, doing great. So and so may not be. Um, um, how about this for something to look for? Instead of looking for perfection, how about if instead of defining beauty as perfection, we define it maybe as possibility. What changes for you if you were to, instead of looking for the perfection in your holiday meal, like I did for years? I was terrible. I've shared that before, and I will share it again when as we come up on the holiday season. That I was so misguided in what I thought the holidays were supposed to look like and what I was supposed to be like. And my efforts to create a perfect holiday made me miss the true beauty of it, which was the possibility for connection. To me, that's beautiful. I see great beauty in connection. The things that you mentioned, you guys, all involve some kind of a connection. When we talk about nature, that feeling we get when we're out in the middle of a sandy beach and the waves are coming in. I'm thinking of Daytona Beach a couple of years ago. Well, it might have been a year ago now that I was there with my siblings, and I was just in awe of how gorgeous it was. It was so incredible. It was an experience. It wasn't just seeing perfection. It was just being immersed in it was connected. I could hear the waves, I could feel the breeze, I could smell the air, I could see the sunset. It was unbelievable. I was connected. Connecting with the desert in a new way, Corey's, not just seeing whatever it was that you didn't like, but starting to observe the things that caught your attention that were beautiful. The connection that comes from good conversations or from watching somebody from a distance and seeing the look on their face as they look at their mom or their child. I saw the most beautiful thing on Facebook. A friend of mine from church had posted a picture of her and her husband a few years back, and he's passed away now. And she looked lovely. She takes lovely pictures. She always looks beautiful. And so she's smiling at the camera, and her husband is smiling at her. And I just was smitten by that picture. The look on his face captured forever. And I was able to just put a little comment on there on Facebook and said, no wonder you miss him. Somebody who looks at you like that, it's beautiful. That connection, that connection. When we, in the midst of change, in the midst of life, when we start looking for possibility instead of perfection, we start to embrace this idea of what true beauty really is, the possibility that things can get better, right? The possibility that we can be a light in somebody else's darkness, even while we're going through sometimes the same change. That hashtag find the beauty really becomes powerful when we start exploring what is beautiful to me and how do I look for it and how do I display it. Man, oh, you guys, it's getting me in the feels. Another thing I was thinking of when it comes to beauty, instead of looking for perfection, what if we're looking for proof? What if when we're going through a change, maybe we're changing careers, maybe we're striving to accomplish a goal, get a college degree, start a job, be an entrepreneur, a new parent. What if, as we were going through these changes, instead of looking for the perfection, what if we started looking for the proof? The proof that we're making progress, not the proof that we're perfect, that we've got it all finished. Hi, Sammy. I'm glad you're here. Not the proof that our work here is done, the proof that says, I've made a dent in something. I've checked off 2 classes on this long list of things I have to do to get my degree. I've checked off this many steps in getting my website launched. What if we looked for proof that the kindness that we decided to display to that person who's treating us so bad, what if we stopped looking for perfection in that relationship and just started looking for proof that what we're doing is making even a little bit of difference? Start looking for the proof that you're making progress. How beautiful is that? How beautiful is that? What changes for you in the midst of the change you're in if As you're looking for beauty, you're not looking for perfection. You're looking for possibility. And when you see one, you say, oh, that's beautiful. Or you're looking for proof that you've grown, proof that you're not the same person you were a year ago or 5 years ago or 10 years ago. So many of you come on Sunday Night Live, and I love it when you do, when you say, I used to, but now I used to really overreact when XYZ happened. But now, right? Growth. Start looking for the beauty in the midst of your change. Find the beauty in the fact that when you take an action, there's a result. And that result, even if it's not perfect, represents a possibility because it gives you information. You can make a decision to do something differently. So, what are you thinking so far about this find the beauty? How could this apply to where you're at right now? And just so I'm not misconstrued, find the beauty does not mean, again, looking on the bright side and pretending that there isn't a dark side. The darker the night, the brighter the light. Ignoring the fact that there is some hard stuff happening while we're in the midst of especially unwanted change or maybe unexpected consequences from the change we wanted. If we ignore that, we can't fully appreciate the beauty. The darker the light, the darker the night, the brighter the light. That hashtag find the beauty principle is not about pretending there aren't things wrong. It's about saying, I know things are wrong, and there is also some beauty to be found here, and being intentional about finding it. Whew. We can spend our whole lives chasing beauty and missing it. Somebody that I know is caught. She is trapped in this cycle that is a lie, and she can never appreciate the beauty of her life right now. She can never appreciate that even though there's some tough stuff happening, even though there are some things she doesn't like, she cannot appreciate that there's also some beautiful things happening at the same time. And this person has gone so far as to include herself in the mix. If things aren't perfect in her life, it's because she's not beautiful enough. And so she's had surgery. She's had several surgeries. I don't even recognize her anymore. She's not even 30 years old. There's something in here that's misdefined beauty. And if we want to really thrive and change, we can be intentional about how we set our definitions. How do we set our GPS? What is beautiful to us? Is it the person who sings beautifully and flawlessly? Or is it the person who takes her courage in her hands and gets up in front of a group of people and sings a song at church with her heart behind it? Being courageous, declaring her love for God in front of a bunch of people in a voice that isn't quite perfect. Where's the beauty? I know some people might think that's not beautiful singing at all. And I look at it and say, this is so beautiful. Look at the courage. Look at the passion. Look at the emotion. Look at the love in that act. People define beauty in ways that speak to the bigger truths of life. The small ways we define beauty, the superficial ways we define beauty are, as far as I can tell, always, but we'll say almost always in case there's an exception, they're always others focused. And by that, I mean, They worry about what other people think. Does my child look cute enough? Is my child wearing a dress that's perfect? Is my child got her hair in ponytails? Does my little boy look XYZ? Because we're afraid of what other people will think. And then there's the beauty that says, my little girl doesn't look perfect, but oh my gosh, did you see her rock those monkey bars? Look at that strength. Look at that risk taking. Look at that problem solving. Define beauty in ways that are going to speak to the big truths in life, what really matters, the things you value. Carol says, love, when there is an action, there is a result, and it takes effort. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. You guys, I am passionate about Find the Beauty. And I am not trite about it. I am not flippant about it. I know that it is not simple. Well, it's simple, it's just not easy. I know it is not easy to always find the beauty, but it is worth trying. It is worth trying. And when you've got a clear definition of what you think beautiful is, and that definition of beauty aligns with your values, the things you know to be true, the things that guide your life, your GPS, when you start defining beauty like that, it is so much easier to quit worrying about what other people say or do. It's easier to quit the comparison game. It's easier to be able to navigate whatever change we find ourselves in because we have got something lasting that we're making our decisions on. We've got something lasting that's guiding our path. It matters. It's important. It's significant. Find the beauty is no small thing. It is wonderful. It is wonderful to be able to stop and smell the roses. You know that phrase. It's wonderful to be able to do that. It's wonderful to appreciate them, to really relish the plants, the nature, the trees, the rain, that you name it. It's beautiful to be able to enjoy those things and understand that it is not because they're visually perfect that they're special and spectacular. Just like we don't have to be physically perfect to be special and spectacular. You don't have to be perfect to be beautiful. You can have great conversations. You can treat people with kindness. You can be an inspiration to somebody. You can be beautiful. Beauty is as beauty does. That is such a powerful phrase. Many years, well, I did it for many years. I don't know how to put this. For many years, if somebody told me I was beautiful, I would say thank you. And then I would tell myself, Shannon, you have to be beautiful. You have to be beautiful. And what makes me beautiful, what makes you beautiful is not how we look on the outside. This precious, precious soul that is surgically altering her body, trying to achieve beauty, and she'll never find it because it doesn't exist out there. It starts in here. She hasn't understood that if you can be beautiful, you're enough. Being kind, being loving, being generous, being truthful, all those things, beautiful. So if you're in the midst of a change right now, I just want you to know you can find the beauty in the midst of that change, but you're not going to find it because everything's going flawlessly and perfectly. You are going to find it because you are looking for things that have even more value than things just going perfect. Make sense? All right. Carol says, thank you for your leadership classes that have taught us so much about this and that we can do it afraid. Yes. And she recommends, and I second the motion, if you want excellent training and you want to see your life flourish, contact Shannon about joining a class on Saturday morning. Amen and amen. We have a group of passionate women who are striving to understand what true beauty is and are truly beautiful. It's amazing. It is amazing. If you crave a group of people that are safe, that you can connect with, that value the things you value integrity and impact and significance and love and kindness, value really, really good things, and are committed to growing in those things, you want to be in with us on Livestream Leadership on Saturday morning. And I would be glad to talk with you about that. Just shoot me a message. I would love to talk with you. It's one of the great delights of my life is to talk about how wonderful these mastermind groups are. It's great. Corey agrees. Such a great place to learn and grow. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. All right, you guys, I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for leaning in. I encourage you, take a look at your life in the midst of whatever change you're in and find the beauty and understand what true beauty is for you. What do you find beautiful? You may even want to make a list of those things. Make a list of those things, and don't be hard on yourself if you write down a handsome man. That's fine. You think your husband's handsome? Write him down. I think it's great. You think your wife's beautiful? You think you've got your eye on this girl over there? If you don't have a wife and you think she's beautiful, write her down. Not a thing wrong with it. But as you go through that list, start digging a little deeper. Some of the things that are imperfect that you think are beautiful. And it's going to help you to be able to connect the dots when the pressure's on, because you will have trained yourself what beauty really means to you. And then hashtag find the beauty is just part of who you are, not a checklist that you have to mark off. With that, I wish you all the best. God bless you. I love you, and I will see you soon. Bye.